reaching out.
We can't side with that view of the world.
How the Harris campaign is battling for rural votes. Our DC bureau is live. Now in effect.
Some Christian organization came and helped us sign a petition expressing we are opposed to this law.
A new Florida law having to do with homelessness and public property. From sunshine to superstorms.
Areas was not prepared for it.
A former Florida editor's newest job takes him to the eye of Hurricane Helene.
And just like that viral song, a baby shark was spotted swimming in Florida waters, but not in its typical surroundings. I'm Valentina Gaspari, reporting live from North Miami with these stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello, South Florida. I'm Benjamin Cure.
And I'm Dylan Pazay. Today is Friday, October 4th, 2024.
Live from the Lee Caplin School of Journalism and Media in North Miami, this is Caplin News.
Presidential candidates look for new supporters as the race enters its final month. Donald Trump and Kamala Harris are vying for votes from areas candidates usually concede to the other party.
DC Bureau reporter Grecia Pacheco is live in Washington, D.C. with news of a push from the Harris campaign to reach rural voters. Grecia, what are you hearing on the ground?
The rural community is often seen as a Republican stronghold. This loyalty has been hard to beat by Democrats. Now they're trying to connect with this segment of voters that have been out of their focus for a while now.
This past spring, a poll from the Rural Democracy Initiative showed that Biden was 26 points behind Trump among rural voters. However, after Harris took over, recent polls show that she's only behind Trump by 18 points, an 8-point improvement. Political science professor Sean Evans at Union University in Tennessee explained why the majority of this group of voters continue more aligned with the Republican Party.
You see the Democratic Party getting most of votes from the urban areas. Sometimes difficult for rural voters to believe that someone who has spent very little time in urban areas truly understands them.
Patrick Murray is director of the Monmouth University Polling Institute in New Jersey and tells Caplin News what may change a rural area from red to blue.
What we saw particularly in these competitive areas that have gone from red to blue are these highly educated suburban areas. Basically, Donald Trump's president mate said, "You got to pick a side." And I said, "Well, we can't side." Particularly women said, "We can't side with that view of the world."
Democrats are looking for strategies to gain the support of the rural group that stick with Trump. The organization White Dudes for Harris created a $10 million campaign hoping to reach this demographic only a few weeks away from the election.
Yeah, for far too long, the left has essentially ceded white men to the MAGA right.
Visiting small communities like Savannah, Georgia is part of the new strategies Democrats are using in the final stretch of the campaign. The outcome of the race becomes more uncertain as both parties work to secure votes from communities that could sway the election.
The polling is suggesting that there are small things that can move things around, and our best bet is to go into Election Day saying we're not sure what's going to happen.
We're just 31 days away from the election, and the Democrats are ramping up on winning rural voters, especially in crucial states. Whether this effort will be enough remains to be seen. Reporting for Caplin News in Washington, D.C., Grecia Pacheco.
The homeless community could be facing a new challenge following a law that came into effect this past Tuesday. Caplin News reporter Alejandro Marquina has more on the story.
On Tuesday, October 1st, the state of Florida enacted 30 new laws, one of them banning public encampments, which this could affect the homeless community. The homeless community could be facing a big challenge. This after Florida enacted the new House Bill 1365, signed by Governor Ron DeSantis back in March of this year. Under HB 1365, homeless individuals are prohibited from camping on city streets, sidewalks, and parks, and instead are placed in temporary shelters monitored by law enforcement agencies. Also, the state of Florida has enforcement tools needed to ensure local governments comply. Homeless shelters will require occupants to not use drugs, and these shelters will also include substance abuse and mental health treatments. Most of them were not aware of this new law, while some were told by workers from the shelters like Rolando, who immigrated from Cuba 1 year ago and says he liked the most of them, opposes the law.
Some Christian organization came and helped us sign a petition expressing we are opposed to this law. But if we can't be in the streets, where are we going to go?
We also talked with Melvin. He's been on the streets for more than 6 years and doesn't share a different opinion about it.
And how you gonna stop homeless? Y'all violating our constitutional right, locking us up. Well, that's not committing a crime.
He also acknowledged the help he's given by the government, but he believes it's not enough.
Y'all come one time a week, once. Pass out water, that's it. Water, 1 bottle of water per person, that's it. It be hard out here. We out here all day, every day. 1 bottle of water, that's all y'all doing.
Stephen Schnably, a law professor in the University of Miami who's been cooperating in matters related to homeless criminalization for more than 3 decades, believes this law is not right for them.
That's not really going to solve it, because if you just arrest people, for one thing, you make it harder for people to get out of homelessness, because an arrest record makes it harder to find a job, makes it harder to find an apartment. It's also just very, traumatizing, basically. It sets you back. And it can also cause you, for example, to lose a job. There are a lot of people who live, well, some in the shelters and some living on the streets also, but a fair number, more than you'd imagine, who work.
Now, with Florida having more than 33,000 homeless, it is difficult to know what their future will be.
But they say, I am human.
Law enforcement are now able to arrest and issue fines to individuals found congregating and camping in public spaces. Reporting for Caplin News, I'm Alejandro Marquina.
A former FIU student journalist is now a professional reporter in the area hit hardest by Hurricane Helene's rainfall. Caplin News reporter Emma Alonso shows us the aftermath of the storm through his eyes.
To wake up one morning and everything that you own be gone is a tragic situation.
Just last week, Hurricane Helene made landfall as a Category 4 hurricane, damaging homes, flooding highways, and even wiping out communities. Gerard Albert, a rural communities reporter for Blue Ridge Public Radio in Western North Carolina, witnessed it firsthand, leaving him stranded in an area he was not too familiar with no cell service or running water.
The cleanup effort is ongoing right now, and there's still areas of the mountains that people can't get to after today. And the new fatality count is the deadliest hurricane since Katrina.
Albert has had a passion for reporting, but when it comes to helping those and making sure their stories are heard, Gerard was there to answer the call.
It's something I don't take lightly. It's something that I take with a lot of responsibility to tell these people's stories. But yeah, it is so much tragedy, but also so much, beauty of kind of like the human spirit and community here.
The aftermath from Hurricane Helene stands with a death toll currently surpassing 200 lives, leaving those in North Carolina with no running water and cell service since the storm's first impact. However, local and state authorities are working their best in helping those that are in need.
It breaks my heart that we couldn't do everything all at once, but we have been working hard to make sure we can serve our community and serve our community well.
Gerard believes, however, that more could have been and more could still be done for those that are in communities that feel like they're voiceless in comparison to the bigger cities.
When you take a step back, this area was not prepared for it. It doesn't have the infrastructure to be prepared for it. It does just feel like the whole area from elected officials down was caught so flat-footed. I mean, you had counties out here that issued mandatory evacuation notices at 8 p.m. on the night before the storm.
Gerard is continuing his Hurricane Helene coverage today as rescue and recovery efforts are still underway. You can catch his coverage on Blue Ridge Public Radio. I'm Emma Alonso, reporting for Caplin News.
A video has gone viral of a baby bull shark swimming in a lake. How weird is that?
It's super weird. Caplin's Valentina Gaspari joins us live from our Biscayne Bay campus with more on why that baby shark was not in coastal waters. Valentina, what's going on over there?
Yeah, Ben and Dylan, definitely a shark surprise to see that little fella just swimming around in that lake. And what's even more concerning is that lake belongs to a park where families take their kids to. Now experts are thinking Hurricane Helene is to blame. A baby shark at Lakes Park.
Alligators, snakes, you always see that, but no shark. I think that's crazy.
It might sound crazy, but if you know anything about bull sharks, you know they can live just about anywhere, even hanging around in South Florida's marinas.
Bull sharks are really unique.
Susanna Cogburn studies these creatures at Florida Gulf Coast University, saying how it's possible anyone could have spotted the shark on Sunday, and if Hurricane Helene could have anything to do with it.
It definitely could be related. Looking at, kind of the geography of where Lakes Park is, the most probable what happened is it came up through Hendry Creek, and especially with the extra flood water, it could have really, pushed that shark there. And then when the water receded, it just stayed in Lakes Park.
Hendry Creek ends at Lakes Park and connects to Estero Bay and then eventually the Gulf. Susanna says living in fresh water may put the shark into a little bit of stress, but as long as it has enough food, it should be okay.
Which, as the only shark in the lake, it seems like they should have an ample amount of food to feed on.
Bull sharks can live in saltwater conditions like this bay behind me, but also freshwater environments like that lake. Now, the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation hasn't spoken out about that baby bull shark yet, but like Susanna said, as long as there's food, that shark will be just fine. We're live in North Miami. I'm Valentina Gaspari, Caplin News.
President Biden visits Keaton Beach in Tallahassee, Florida, alongside Republican Senator Rick Scott to survey the damage caused by Hurricane Helene. Helene made landfall in the early hours of September 27th, and as of now, more than 200 people are reported dead due to the storm's carnage. President Biden will continue his tour of affected cities, where he will meet with officials to survey the aftermath of the storm.
A dog is miraculously saved in what could have ended up being a tragedy.
That's still ahead, and so is the story.
Robots don't pay taxes and they don't put food on your table, so it's very important to protect these jobs.
The Port Workers Union reaches a deal after a 4-day-long strike that could have significantly impacted the economy. Newsbreak will be back in 2 minutes.
I could really use a new tablet. I just don't have the money.
Let me ask you something. Do you have a Pell Grant?
Yes?
You do know you can get a free tablet, right?
Did you say free?
Yeah, free. It's simple. And the application is done in the store.
I could really use a tablet.
Go get one. Another satisfied customer. Stop by Pantotech in the Graham Center at FIU MMC today to speak with one of our associates to get your free tablet.
Type 2 diabetes can have a big impact on your life. But how can it be prevented? Well, the first step is knowing if you have something called prediabetes. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Back to work. Port workers and their union have come to an agreement to end their strike after less than a week of protest. In less than a week, the workers reached an agreement to extend their contract with the International Longshoremen's Association and the United States Maritime Alliance. This deal includes a $4 per hour raise and restrictions on automated equipment. This settlement comes as port workers went on strike demanding better wages and better job protections. Within the next 90 days, demands will be met as the deal still needs to be ratified by the rank and file members before anything is put in place.
It means that they can provide, put food on the table, pay their bills. They don't have to worry anymore, possibly losing their cars or their homes or anything like that.
The workers will be able to return to work this Friday with the contract renewed and extended to January the 15th.
One lucky Central Florida dog named Bella is safe and sound at home after being stuck in a deep, dark hole. Firefighters in Ocala, Florida quickly responded to a call that she had fallen into a 14-foot dark hole and couldn't get out. They used the ladder truck to lower a firefighter into the hole for her rescue, and Bella was soon reunited with her new owners. She's reportedly doing just fine.
That's all the time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Dylan Pizzay.
And I'm Benjamin Cure. It's Field Trip Friday, and today's live studio audience is from Pinecrest Glades Academy. We thank you so much for joining us in studio this Friday, and thank you so much for joining us online. You can join us anytime for more news at kaplannews.fiu.edu.